What would happen if Lake Mead dried up? The 7 states that rely on the Colorado River must come up with a plan to cut 2 to 4 million acre-feet of water use by mid-August. And if they don't, the Federal Bureau of Reclamation will act for them. It's a massive amount of water to find in a short amount of time. And there are more questions than answers about what this entails. But let's walk through what we know, maybe. Depending on how you define dry up. It's doubtful that all 1,450 miles of the Colorado River will turn to dust, even if we drain Lake Mead and Lake Powell, the nation's 2 largest reservoirs. But larger stretches could go dry for all or parts of the year if the lakes tank, creating ecological disasters in places like the Grand Canyon. The problem is one of supply and demand. We use far more water than the river now produces. Even though we've had close to normal snowpack in recent years, warmer temperatures, earlier runoff dates and dry soils parched by drought have left us with far less water flowing into the reservoirs, which is depleting them. Fast.Lake Mead and Lake Powell are now so low that there is risk of falling into what is called dead pool, meaning reservoir levels are too low to pass water through the dam. If Lake Mead were to reach dead pool, for example, no water would flow downstream past Hoover Dam, cutting off Colorado River water to anyone in Arizona or California for all or parts of the year. But there are major problems to avoid long before we reach dead pool, particularly at Lake Powell. It involves a relatively higher lake level called minimum power pool, which is the point where turbines at Glen Canyon Dam can no longer generate hydropower. The larger problem isn't necessarily the loss of power, it's that millions of acre-feet of river water must then be funneled through 4 smaller pipes that are encased in concrete within the dam. Those pipes were not designed to handle this much water, particularly over time, which means that if any one of them is damaged, it can't be easily repaired. And that would radically slash the amount of water that can flow downstream to keep Lake Mead, not to mention the rest of the Colorado River, alive. That's why reclamation is requiring such quick and significant action. Trimming demand each year won't restore lake levels, even if we luck out with a good runoff year or 2. It simply provides a buffer to keep them from falling any lower. Reclamation did some modeling to show how much less water we'd need to use on average from 2023 to 2026 to provide that needed buffer. That's where the range of 2 to 4 million acre-feet comes from, and keep in mind, that's 2 to 4 million acre-feet above all the other cuts and water balancing moves we've already made to keep the reservoirs afloat. It's a mind-boggling amount. An acre-foot is the amount of water it takes to cover 1 acre in 1 foot of water. So, 2 million acre-feet is enough to flood the entire city of Phoenix, with more than 6 feet of water. We could cut off major cities in the Colorado River Basin, Phoenix, Los Angeles, Denver, Las Vegas, and the savings still wouldn't be enough to produce the kind of water we're talking about here. That's why this is so tough. If we're going to produce this scale of water savings, and do it in a way that doesn't completely cut off some users while others remain untouched, it's also going to require sacrifices of the river's largest users, the ones that also have the most senior water rights.